Sanje Chetan Soje Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Chazujen Dage Jebes Dola Benje Sanjen Rubarsho Sanje Chetan Soje Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Dage Jinso Jebes Namjen Dola Benje Sanjen Rubarsho Sanje Chetan Soje Chon Chanjo Bardo Dane Jasoje Dage Jinso Jebes Lola Benjer Sanjen Rubarsho Simjen Tamjen Dewadan Devi Jodan Demba Dungada Dunga Genjodan Dawa Joje Dungal Meben Dewadan Badan Mendawa Joje Nyeren Chadan Yedan Danyon Zeme Balan Neban Joje Ninja Shimbo Zeda Nyima Shin Sonne Manam Jabonga Jata Pega Danga Senda Shimbo Dumba Tuji Jana Chasalo Dumba Lame Sanje Rinpoche Joba Lame Sanje Rinpoche Demba Lame Gunde Rinpoche Yamne Gunjo Sumla Chasalo Vande Zavi Lama Rinpoche Dagi Chupe Medena Shukari Chepe Pane Jesu Uzudu Yungudu Zandu So Tene Tatirin Rinpoche Gachi Kasur Zobu Ndawudi Ane Gulungdi Shindu Nechibu Yimba Sungwade
Today, Rinpoche taught explicitly how important it is for all of us to give rise to a proper motivation.
And
especially when it comes to practicing the Dharma, it's important that we understand that the Dharma has to be practiced with our mind.
Tene digi called six chambajene lungak chuke was the so lungak the so che da was and semdi kajung da was sene then and che dayon the che chigi bachila yang yarje khan do megen da was la de ore.
While this is the case, it is so often people forget that the Dharma has to be practiced with one's mind. And they believe that Dharma practice actually comes down to doing something with your body and your speech. And when forgetting about that, then it seems like that we do practice the Dharma because we are doing something, but nevertheless there is no kind of improvement when it comes to our mind. We do not progress in any way. So first of all, it's important to understand any type of movement or actions that we do with our body and speech are conditions. They're not the cause. The cause for Dharma practice is the mind.
Shinganala mena chudan lu la sofa kazuluna de ten yomar.
Just take the example of putting a rice. You want that the rice plant grows forth, but you don't really plant the rice seed. So if there is no seed in the ground, then also nothing will grow from it, isn't it? Because the cause is absent. So if you put a lot of water and fertilizer and whatever on that piece of earth, nothing will grow from it because there is no seed present.
Yang sabundi yorede yang kendi matsana yang devudi nyurdu mintugu yomar tenza lunga gidi yang nechim chagu.
Let us take another example. Let us look at it from another perspective. Imagine that there is a seed present, but you lack the conditions. That is to say, you don't put any fertilizer, there's no moisture, no water. the seed may grow in the plant, but it will take a long time. So the conditions, that is to say the fertilizer and moisture and so forth, are all really important. In this way, the physical and the verbal actions when practicing the Dharma are also really important.
아니 상하게 값이 나야 탑된 상마 괜찮이라 다 자lum추고라 소바 된주 탑을 따와 넘버 타고지다 아니 대바다 미기 유 된주라 때니 탑디 자lum라서 내도 누나 야 똑바 라우라우야 나 파르게 요라.
So when it comes to the practice of the secret mantrayana, we have to understand that there's so many methods, so many skillful means, and they are all good conditions. They're all conditions that we need. So for instance, the practice of the inner subtle body, of learning how to utilize the key points of your inner nadis, the channels, the wind, the essences, the bindus, all of that is extremely important, and they're extremely good conditions and skillful methods. If you practice them with the cause, that is to say, while having devotion, compassion, and renunciation in your mind, while developing those qualities, you will, by combining them together, quickly reach the result of enlightenment.
다 상제게 송와를 다 개와다 디과스겐디 수닝기 제수당거 요마레스 개와단 디과스는 조 삼바 상보당 넘바.
So therefore the Buddha pointed out that we have to understand that when it comes to virtuous actions and negative actions, non-virtuous actions, that they're not just mere reflections. In fact, whether or not something is virtuous or non-virtuous comes about based on our motivation.
삼방 ambassador 아찬 마차마 공교를 소 도나 뇽몽바 군네 랑웨 고네 아니 테니 랑다 셴라 너버 주베기타 지 굴롱지 요나 데 삼방 ambassador 미게와레.
So we all know what it means to have a negative motivation, isn't it? That is something that is a state of mind that is intoxicated by negative emotions. We are influenced by negative emotions. And when such a negative state of mind overwhelms us, what we naturally do is inflict harm on others. And that is negative, that is unwholesome or non-virtuous.
삼삼라 가시 내가 팬되는 도지라야 푸네 네 장에게 내 차와지요 된조양 되나 다 미게베기다 데부다고 차기요래.
For instance, or sometimes it may be the case that some actions that we train or that we engage in are actually beneficial for some time, but in the end they cause a lot of suffering. So while they're in the outset or in the beginning beneficial, they nevertheless become non-virtuous, they cause suffering, so therefore they are to be abandoned.
그 삼바 삼보신데 란다 셴라 내가 잠마세 탈둑 팽게 열데 내가 왜 팽게지로 내가 탈둑 니라 팽게게 있다니 군도지요나 된주 삼바데 상보암 게베 삼바.
So what is a positive, a virtuous motivation? It is something that helps others, something that is beneficial, not only and ultimately, but also on a temporary level. It is always good, it is always beneficial for others. That's a positive state of mind, something that is beneficial.
다디 만주 가서래 양양 아니 가서 나랑 딱지 땅고요래.
So it's so important that we always take a good look at ourselves and examine our motivation.
만주 까망나라 굴롱 엠바메나야 까망나 제라 굴롱 엠바 용스바래.
It may be the case that 5 minutes ago we had such a positive, such a virtuous motivation, but then 5 minutes passed, and then positive motivation also has gone. It has disappeared.
그래서나 나도 녀몽바 빵토비요 말해.
Why is that? It is simply because we have not yet abandoned negative emotions.
라 된디 녀몽바게 자베자 차와든지 요래 차와디였나 디야 전부 다이에상 전부 차스기 요래.
So the subtle, latent negative emotions are constantly present in our mind, and therefore they can manifest and arise any moment as gross, very strong negative emotions.
디가나시 선 디 뉴몽바 펠사기 율란 여월 다 네바 수다트로 잘라서과
Also, we always encounter conditions or we encounter objects that really stimulate our negative emotions.
네 나란도 샘디한테는 코디스 가서다 마리반 티무고 원도 손데 소시마임베 이체스 대달라더니 간다 겐 대달라더니 나란다 남동에 뭐 랩스기 요래 데인디 아주 다른 무슨 삽삽체
Also, our mind is influenced by ignorance, stupidity, and this is precisely the reason for why we have so many mistaken beliefs. And due to these mistaken beliefs, when we meet with certain conditions, then negative emotions, negative and unvirtuous mental states arise in our mind. And this is precisely the reason for why Rinpoche always encourages us to be really conscientious and careful.
라 데인디 되는 아주 베베기 카벨라 삼년기 많이 담아외 삼상게다 루지는 야그레스.
There's a saying, a Tibetan saying that goes the following: better than just reciting mantras while having all kinds of thoughts, virtuous or non-virtuous, it's better to sing a song with a virtuous state of mind.
데인디 되는 아주 참마게 아주 참마 몇바 최양자지 지금 지고 삼바 참마요래 이나야 삼삼나 꿀롱된줄라 남매 쇼나 되는 참참나 가단게 룡하게 지 개와 제대결데 개와디 양자지 참마자 태좀 차요라 데인데 전부인바 손자를 무지게다 드링 쇼베 갈치 상마 꿀롱라 각성에 아주 차분한 좀 맞으래. 쇼베까지 상마 꿀롱들라랑 학성아도 배제 틸로 토마송아.
So we all have the intention, isn't it, to practice the Dharma. We want to do it really well, genuinely. That's our intention. When we have that intention, because of our negative habitual patterns, we often don't follow through. It doesn't really work out. We forget what we really wanted to do. And although we started out engaging in some virtuous actions, in the end, they don't turn out so well. So therefore, it's so important that we again and again give rise to proper motivation. Be really careful about it. Look within yourself and examine your motivation. So Rinpoche stressed precisely this point in his teachings today. So when summarizing his teachings, this is precisely the point to which everything comes down to. Give rise and make sure that you always give rise to a pure motivation.
테네 굴롱 스엔들라 아니 치기 다셰다고 체나 아니 겸봉 아충게 지당 꾼스네 망보직로 고기요레스.
The term that we translate as motivation in Tibetan is kun long, and kun means many.
당아주 셈라 넘버 도바 망보지요레스.
That refers to that there are just so many thoughts that can appear in our mind, that we can think.
망보지요레 대다 탐제 롱스야 렘바 찌기야 렘바 롱스야 렘바.
And long means to arise, to manifest, and there's
렘바.
And there's one among all those mental states and thoughts that we select.
다디 안 찬주기 셈스.
So which one is that state of mind? Which one do we select? it is the precious attitude of bodhicitta.
다 나랑 검지 잡나 검디 자자자 심정 코네기 치도 현심자 탐제 코네기 치도 임바 되지 뭔도 보여요. 내가 굴롱스 다든지 송와래.
So what does this practically really mean? It means that when we do a meditation session, when we meditate, it's so important that first of all we give rise to a pure motivation that we do it. We want to meditate for the welfare of all sentient beings, to help other sentient beings.
That's all. Oh yeah. 아딘데지 체. tengazu 당고 메바는 부시기 딘한라 투족이 잡주나라 당아주 시 산지기 제수 템베게 난주체나 문도 자 준전시베 대바 야부 중문도 땅에 아니 산지기 다 제수 템바 무슨 두 제수 템바 체나 안 된다는 바 차그래 숭요래.
So yesterday we received some explanations of Mipam Rinpoche's commentary on the Treasury of Blessings. And in his teachings, he explains very clearly that we need to, before we start out to practice the yoga of Buddha Shakyamuni, the practice of Buddha Shakyamuni, that we need to give rise to a faith that knows its own reason. And with that type of faith, then we recollect the enlightened body, the enlightened speech and the enlightened mind of the Buddha. If we do that, our practice will become very unsuccessful. When we talk about faith, it's really important that that faith is based on a reason. We know why we have faith. And here it's good to differentiate faith from devotion. Devotion is a quality that we need to give rise in the teachings of the secret Mantrayana. And devotion is not to be examined. You don't need to have a reason for why you have devotion. It's just you need to feel devotion, you need to give rise to pure perception, and that is the extraordinary quality of the secret Mantrayana that we need to train in. So Mipam Rinpoche explains that how do we develop this type of faith? Well, we need to first of all understand the qualities of the Buddha. So in this world, Buddha has appeared, and this Buddha is known as Buddha Shakyamuni.
유단 찐매바 대가스 레바마이 코랑양 대다부 코랑게 연된 친구들라 코랑라양 뭔라 속사 두장 망보지 뭔도 요래.
So did the Buddha just appear out of the blue? No. There are certain causes and conditions that made the Buddha appear, that made the Buddha Shakyamuni awaken to supreme and perfect enlightenment. The causes and conditions that led to it are the accumulations of merit that he has gathered in his previous lives and all the purification of his defilements that he trained in his past lives.
근데 아니 미화를 뭐지 가르쳤는다 산지 셔제도 보고 문 깔바 장 매반에 샘전 탄지지 된도 특geb에 된신스다 당아도 참단랑 아주 샘전라 팬 딱이 라기 열대이나야 라는 만들게 먹고 열다 나도 나도 샘전 참지 산지 고반은 끄긴람 샘라 배 숙청부 열대야 라는 가르 딱이 요마로 산지 된데 말레스 샘전 탐지 라다 팬 딱이세 탐제 째번하시 코란 깔래 잡이오레스.
So the Buddha gave rise to the attitude of enlightenment to bodhicitta countless eons ago. And we have to understand that the Buddha was somebody who followed through. That is to say, he made a resolve, he made a commitment, and really embodied that very commitment. It's not like how we do it, isn't it? We all have that sincere wish, we make it again and again, give rise to the motivation. I want to establish each and every single sentient being in a state of enlightenment. I really want to help everybody, I want to help all sentient beings, but then when it comes to actually doing something for other sentient beings, we don't have any time and we don't really help them. So the Buddha was very different. The Buddha did not do that. The Buddha actually, when giving rise to the attitude of enlightenment, he followed through. That is to say, he actually really helped others. If we have to reduce our sleeping time for 3 hours, meaning sleep 3 hours less every night, it's too much for us, no? We can't, that's a too great hardship for us.
Sanjegi semjen reregi chidu inaya kala nyalbala semjen chidu nyawala kalba ne go na kondu tigas dedicate chidu yo semjen chigi chidu.
So the Buddhas are very different than us. Just to help a single sentient being who has been reborn in hell, the Buddha will abide in hell. Just for a single sentient being, in order to help them, the Buddha will abide in hell for many eons. So just recall that, what kind of attitude, what kind of courage and fortitude a Buddha must have, no?
Rinpoche 가르sun도스나 투geb에 tension 조민 장바 셈매베 탈신데서다 다 가서를 당보 장주쇼도 투게네 되니 가서를 셈쟁그 된도 아니 가서를 속사 리장 전에다 거주 뭐실라도 젠다 뭐실라서 마부 모두 준 뭐람 자조 말람 장조 다고 족 아니 족체 아니 민스디 셈젠 나 탐매가 쳔매가 여러 셈젠 망보의 민 대관나시 마닥의 싱망보야 야장 어대로 조민 장숨 된데 탈침바.
So the Buddha is somebody who has perfected all the enlightened activities. For incalculable eons, he has purified his obscurations and has gathered the accumulations, and has, during all those lifetimes, perfected his aspiration prayers, always made aspiration prayers for the welfare of all sentient beings, and has in this way brought countless sentient beings to maturation, has ripened their mind stream, and finally also has, through these trainings and these practices, manifested many pure Buddha fields.
말람 섬전로 도나 디바타다 마 잘외기다 예시 구첨보.
Therefore, he has attained the great wisdom body that is free from all stains.
섬전 권 메발라 권 짭메발라 짭 뿡년 메발라 뿡년.
For those sentient beings who had no protector, he became the protector. For those sentient beings who needed a savior, he became the savior. For those who lacked refuge, he became the object of refuge.
Dorna azugi kare sanjela khala gresna madibi zashe chambos. Madibi zashe chambos.
He is the great unacquainted friend.
아주시 지단 칸라 당아주 참보 차야다 도보야 우샤라 당보 유릉부 십니 파수 지지를 팬 닦고로 콩 된의 고기요 말
So what does it mean? Usually when we become friends, we need to acquaint ourselves with each other, get to know each other, befriend each other. But the Buddha becomes our friend without having to befriend him.
Then 다 태과 침부가 계절다우르 또주 미지바 실라서바도 사메기 취지 자수다부 취지군예스.
The Buddha is
란덴도 추궁원도 줄.
for his own benefit, he has attained Dharmakaya, and Dharmakaya is endowed with stainless, with undefiled qualities. For instance, the 10 powers and the 4 types of fearlessness.
라서바다 사메기 연된 빼디 야존하신 자첨부.
And these, an example for all these undefiled qualities the Buddha possesses is the ocean.
되네 뒤숨지 세자 탐지 무슨 수비기 이시전.
The Buddha is endowed with great wisdom that knows the 3 times at the same time, in a single moment.
아니 되네 다 공기 숭디 연락 주주된 숭디기 안에 되네 로 심지 탐절 되네 저 나와 뜬토바.
And with his enlightened speech that is endowed with the 60 aspects of melodious speech, he is able to teach the Dharma to all sentient beings.
산제기 다 아주 잘아직 최시어서 아주 셰투고요. 산제기 자디 둘잘라 둘라 밤나 자디라 산제기 최셰투고. Birds.
So we can't really teach the birds, don't we? But the Buddha is able to teach the Dharma to the birds.
then 대답고 then 꾸니 천상보 숨주선이 빼제삼 자주자도는 그 통화 잠지 아주 통초.
The Buddha's enlightened form is endowed with the 32 major marks and the 80 minor marks. So therefore, when we merely see the Buddha's enlightened form, something happens in our mind. What happens is that we become liberated by merely seeing the Buddha's form.
도나 산제기 연대지 꾸이 바부 직당 꿀라 어슬 초다 근데 지기 연대 지 직댕이 감라다 산제 장매바로 대다기 깔바 망보야 아니 산제 꾸이 바부 직당 어슬 직장발라 연된디마 즉 셰고츠나 페인디 셰토
It is said if we were to talk about the qualities, the enlightened qualities of a single hair of the Buddha, bodily hair of the Buddha, or a single light ray that streams forth from the Buddha's body, if one were to explain the countless qualities, for many eons, there would be even this long time. The time would be not sufficient. It would take longer time to explain those amazing qualities.
대답하게 된 산지 좀 된데선 대답 산지 미자베 연된다 대바 대답하게 그 무슨 나랑게 잘바당 숭퇴바당라 산데네 나랑게 세지도 산지라 대바치니다 쳐바푼난다 랍고고 말했어 파인 랍고고 말했어.
So now imagine if we recall the Buddha's form, see the Buddha's form, if we hear the Buddha's speech, recall the Buddha's enlightened qualities, make offerings to the Buddha with faith and devotion. It's needless to mention that these type of recollections and activities, actions will bring about boundless benefits.
타나 라 대두다 랍고 말 타나 말한게 다 탕가다고 산지 구수 리무티바다 꾸다고 통와다 산지게 센데 말한게 암저그 봐봐 대주자 안에 가서랬더니 가서래 다르도 산지 거만터 유줄기요레스
Even if we were to see only a tanka of the Buddha, see a statue of the Buddha, hear the Buddha's name, that in itself, it says, will become the cause for us to become enlightened in the future.
Then that's Sanjay Gobang Matabgi Pardoyang Azu Nesongi Nesu Nyomagawa Chen, then Azu Torigi, Dendugi Nes Jigres. Tangarani Nyamlema Channel, Sajili Sanjay Tumarawa, Inaya Koa Tajan Chagres.
So if we encounter the Buddha in this way, either seeing the Buddha's form or hearing the Buddha's name, then we will not fall into the three lower realms. If we don't practice, even if we don't practice, we won't fall to the three lower realms. Samsara will come to an end through this very condition.
Ane Mibam Rinpoche da dela kasoria Sanjay do Ningje Chembu Pemakarbu Dojiro Adinan Lung Dis Changsha.
Then Mibam he quotes some citations from the sutra of the White Lotus Sutra of Compassion.
Ro ane Sanjay ge kansum dusuna Sanjay la mingne ro medok chizang namga thorbatang Sanjay la minne sem thangwa ra thebadang kubad thangwa keji jiggebatang de lapsha thambo.
So to focus or visualize the Buddha, and with that focus of mind, then toss a flower into the air, or that we or that you give rise to a really a kind of a mind filled with faith toward the Buddha.
Xianyang ane mazu mi lago mar thana thundu dabuji naya o dedabi nezusana karsa tanda na shin thangwadang dendegi sanjela connection chana ro ane dine digi geve zawa digi debu nyangele debu thobire sanje khorani chana so.
So the Buddha himself taught that if we form a connection with the Buddha in this way, focusing on him, tossing a flower, or just giving rise to faith when encountering the Buddha, even if an animal does so, it will become enlightened. It will soon pass into it will reach nirvana.
Tadi shugo jumze zo karasana azu sa tujodi sanje jeteng naju shabiyo.
So why are we talking about this? The reason is that the treasury of blessing is a practice of Buddha Shakyamuni, is a recollection of the Buddha's qualities.
Then ta the jigdeng yang dinal do dinal jigdeng kam dila ta ro ar da nyende da ranjagi dajuma mangboyorwa tinzula kalba mangbo konzula cheba phobeza ta narangi senla sanjela kasore 대바치네 탐무잔 착사로 렌즈메바디 소남디 장고추나 다 깜베 제투 말이었어.
So there are countless arhants and bodhisattvas on this planet. If we would make offerings to them, right, then compared to that, it would be much more meritorious and beneficial to merely encounter the Buddha and feel faith folding our hands in front of our heart and feel faith toward the Buddha.
다디 좀zen 소보디 가르스나 상제 좀데 된 남네서라 참바다 닝제 수dim 라 서바 연데 삼dim이 잡아 빠도 매봐 오 산제기 이셰디 삼dim이 잡아래 Jumzen tella deni tella tebachena namba miban samjimi jabachaliores.
So why is this? Why is it so beneficial to give rise to faith toward the Buddha? Well, the Buddha is endowed with inconceivable qualities. the inconceivable qualities of enlightenment, of loving kindness, compassion, enlightened activity, enlightened wisdom. And if we feel faith toward the Buddha's enlightened quality, toward the Buddha, then towards something that is inconceivable in nature, the result that we receive from that is also becomes inconceivable.
아니 대기 공도시와로 대가는 산지 천 처바 잠지장 되니 네 코와 타제 아니 탈도 냥엔데 엠바 대만도 파도 양 아주 낸돌라서 뭐 뚱고 말레스 지 대기 공도시와라 어디다 보고들라양 로지다 보지야 미번 보지데 도기 아니 로지지도 안에 뜻이 록샤로.
So as was mentioned before, if we merely hear the Buddha's name, we will not fall into the lower realms. We will sooner or later become enlightened, reach nirvana. So in order to illustrate that, Mirpa Rinpoche here gives a story.
가슴자 문지 튀나스 마마마 총바망부지 안에 엄마다 상만 야졸라 누구다 야졸라 링덴라 슈네다 누르부당다 루부치르딜랭가 누구도 링덴라.
So once upon a time there was
coming in a class school
and there were lots of people. They tried to find something which is called the wish-fulfilling jewel. And as the story goes, those wish-fulfilling jewels, they were found somewhere wide out in the ocean on an island.
다 됐다고 건남바더니 가서 다 자주나 준 되니 자주 술래바다 안에들아 다 추싱기든 attack. So this is precisely what happened. So a ship took off, went far out into the ocean, and then suddenly it was attacked by 1 second, it's coming, sea monsters. Ja,
So maybe these days we would call those sea monsters probably crocodiles.
Maybe a little different from these days crocodiles.
Maybe they were bigger, yeah.
So then that the mimambo mengaden da sola tugur da sama shigro da susu da medageda susu jabda resamambo yorda da mengaden bares.
And immediately all people on the ship, they really became extremely distressed and lamented and feared for their life and were really quite scared.
Then they 가서 대변선다 주당에 권하여라. 그런게 되네 가서래. 되네 그런게다 가서래야. 되네 군조스음라야 잡수도네. 되네 하고도 상제라다 그런게라 미니다 차살로 센된 그런게디 랍 아니 시엔라야한테 랍도 주바래.
The captain of the ship, he had faith in the Buddha and immediately recalled the 3 jewels and especially took refuge in the Buddha and also made all others call out for the Buddha and have faith in the Buddha. So they all called out saying, I prostrate, I bow down to the Buddha.
수신디 셈배가 안들은 수신기다 나르디 다건 세외 삼바죠라디 마신 거 수신 카츠므레스.
So that sound was heard by the sea monster, and the sea monster, when hearing the word I prostrate, I bow down to the Buddha, became really delighted, and all the intention to actually harm the merchants on the ship was pacified.
안델라데네 송바튼 조야한테는 그런 사자들라 파르제메바 강함메바 렘네 그런도 된도 룸니 라리안 자불린 술렙투바레스.
So all the obstacles for emotions became pacified and they were able to return safely home.
아니 추신디아니 상제 다트바디 킹 그런 대화 셈라인 대화 삼지 메저 톰니 친지 어데다고 속자 마사베기 담자체 안텔라 되네드니 그 추신디 싫어 심마타도 아니 그런 메기 만지된 감들 미기 류랑니 그런 랍도 중니 탈콘 다좀부터 봐스.
And the sea monster, when it heard the name of the Buddha and that prostrate to the Buddha, it thought that I don't want to engage in a negative act of harming others, of killing others. I will give that up, and made that firm commitment. And then when the sea monster finally died, it was reborn as a human being. And as a human being, it had the chance then to meet the Buddha's teachings and become ordained. And he then became an arhat.
이러와 된디니다 아주 단다 아주 자트스디 혐마탁 상다 얘기요 말데 깬들라다니다 담을 사기도.
So it's important to understand that when we hear the name Buddha, it's not like immediately off we go to the pure realm and we become enlightened. It's not like that. But something happens. It becomes a condition that will sooner or later make us attain enlightenment.
다들 상마 또나 만두 산지다 신내기 냠내지르데 대단 렌도 말한 산제 꿀라 미 산지기다 가소를 연대인데도 되나 아니 곰양체 평양 야청보.
So in this way we have to understand that the yoga of Buddha Shakyamuni is extremely powerful. If we focus on the form of the Buddha, on the enlightened form, on his enlightened speech, on his enlightened mind, then the benefits that result from that very meditation, be it shamatha or vipassana meditation, are really limitless.
So, then the nala tea the nala karsungdu sina tangazu chirdang nanzu chula rimba mambu yore.
So first of all, in the commentary here it says, when it comes to the Dharma, there's so many different levels and stages.
Tene chirdang nanzu lungagi choba sansingi choba sansingi wa tenzu yaku re. Sansingi choba, tenzu yaku res lungagi chak korachen yaku res. Inayang tengazu choba sendi then takes dileja mixegi go yores.
So when practicing the Dharma, of course, it is extremely beneficial to engage in virtuous deeds with our body and speech. They're extremely precious. But nevertheless, as a Dharma practitioner, we should not be stuck only on that level. We need more.
처바스근데 저우디 술짐당 난도 양다 줘봤으나 띵에진 시기요래.
So when we talk about the Dharma practitioner, it means that this very person is endowed with discipline, but also trains in samadhi, in meditative absorption.
아니 학벌도 산제기 다 숭배기 까지어라 띵아랑이 가지 두 이투 다해다 쳐바기.
Especially a Dharma practitioner is somebody who listens to the teachings of the Buddha and then immediately applies them, recollects them.
저는 말한주 아니 가서래 사람 통마 매반에 도는 거랑게 샘기랑 신디다 요와다 쳔바 쓰도 샘디 가드나 굴데.
So when it comes to our mind, how is our mind? our mind is always in movement. There's always something happening, isn't it?
너나 다 가수를 가진 쉬바를 당아주지 잠까지 잡고서나 깨워라 잠깐 잡무천도 보죠라 다 대다 탐제라 나랑 그 생은 남도들 룽당 뛴다 자주 랍다고 인생 밤에 두다 축된 맞다 깨워지 잠깐 잡는 거 장잡 두면도 다 대다 탐제를 생그 정신 요디기도 남도 발음 맞죠.
So if we think back, we have to take into consideration that we lived countless lives in the past. Countless. And in all these countless lives we had a mind, didn't we? There was a mind. And this mind has the nature of being always in movement. And imagine all these countless thought states, mental states, inconceivable many thoughts that we thought in the past lives, how many we had actually.
어제다 요구단 구지기 대체비 내가 텐주기 대부디 남도선 대부니 다 연된 렉부 차다 파샤네 더 파샤 둥알 망고지 말하는 용어래.
And what was the result of all those many thoughts that we thought? What was it? Well, most likely not very good, no? And actually, most of the time, that flickering mind of ours, it produces so much negativity, so much suffering.
다 단내 순에 당가르던데 차와를 다 단내 다 진의 장세로 매버도 얘기 대답이 되네 다 당문에 당하는 게다 가서를 semgi namdo de rewa ondi ten ma digin nangne namdo de nanna tharo ma chena ngarya na phungyore maungbayan phungwa jugire.
So it's important to think like this, and that this has happened in the past, that we thought countless thoughts, and the result of that, it was merely suffering, was a misery. So therefore, right now, we should take a good look at our situation right now. And we know if we were to continue in the same way as before, the result would be the same, just more suffering, a lot of suffering. So therefore I need to do something about my situation right now, I need to change it. The way I change it is that I see clearly and acknowledge clearly that it is my mind that is so flickering, so unstable, where countless pointless thoughts arise from moment to moment. And I need to overcome this enemy. I need to undo it. I need to completely do away with the enemy of dualistic thinking.
어때다불라 타브라 젠니 깨지점 유점 탕직점 안에 근데니 율 칼라 믹나 소남 체신 된처버디 디시셰브 꾸디레 스타기 쇼로 텔라 믹니 때문에 신내다 하동기 다 난주라 냠네 추신 책임 삼바 다 삼바 탐자지 송게.
So having made that promise, then we think that casting away all those thoughts, the only thought that I will have, the only mental state that I will train in from now on is I will focus on the Buddha. I will take the Buddha as the object of my meditation, the Buddha's mind, the Buddha's speech, the Buddha's body. And this from now on will be the only object of my thoughts, of my mind.
다든지 튕지 뭔도 더워자 튕 탐절 어디도 삼로지 땅 틈나 아니나 도저지 되나베 선바는 가와다 또왕한 등이요.
So if we're able to think these thoughts, take into account these considerations that were just explained, and really train your mind in that way, really give rise to that firm commitment as was explained right now, then before practicing the Buddha Shakyamuni practice, then your practice will really flourish and will become really good. If we're able to think in that way, then our mind, in fact, turns toward the Dharma. And then all the instructions that are written here in the scriptures, they will become our path. If we then travel the path authentically, what happens is that our obscurations will become purified, and that we and all the qualities of the path and the bhumis of the bodhisattva bhumis will gradually unfold and begin to blossom. And finally, we will become indistinguishable from Buddha Shakyamuni. So what was explained in the last 2 days and today are kind of the preliminaries that we need to train in, the preparation that we need to train in before we begin with the Buddha Shakyamuni practice. So some people asked me to explain something about the offerings here. And when you take a look at the offerings that are prepared in front of the bodhisattvas, they are extremely unelaborate.
Rinpoche kubar tu yemji dino kubar dino jida odi dix yebare de la chinje lagre cheba naduyan lagore tateda hojo.
So the usual offering that we make is the offering which is in front of the stupa of Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche and the photo of Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche. Here you see the sevenfold arrangement of the offerings, of the 7 offerings. So you start to arrange the offerings from the left side. No, wait. Left. When you stand in front, no?
The object narangi.
So
from the object, the offering side, it starts from right side. So first 2 bowls with water. The choyen shapsi lagi ore, choyere chakdan shapsi ere.
So the first 2 offering bowls, they are filled with water. The first water is called the bathing water. The drinking water, and the second is called the bathing water.
And then Nyima sumbadi medogi chobare.
The third is the flower offering.
Then shivadi pögi chobare.
The fourth is the incense offering.
Ani nabadi medog kase de chume.
The fifth is the light offering.
Ani dijela did tijabre.
And we're now number 6, is the scented oil or perfume offering.
Ani dumbadi ani shalse.
And the 7th is the food offering.
Right. Then shalse pado so mashena ya susugi. That the organic in the biscuit dabu dan, the chocolate dan, ya fruit la soba kari shana and digi ore.
So if you don't have the shell-sit toma, the food toma to offer, you can also use some kind of organic biscuit or fruit or anything else, or chocolate.
For you, this is too much complicated, but you still like to follow tradition, then you just buy, either you buy or either you can get some kind beautiful glass small cup with 7 pieces with filled water, also fine. Right? So, and how you perform, simple way, when you first, number one, very important, also offering sets are also in nice order, means not too much up there, or everything in order, not too much big gap, yeah? So, then you begin with from the object side, from the right to you offer, like this, you go like this. And then when you clean, then you take from the left side of an object, the clean. So this is tachidang choba singandi then zo the senagi nyamboyare ra senagi nyambo zo di zo shenbada chakwa da di ma jange tapjo chagiyore.
So offerings, making offerings is an antidote against miserliness and stinginess. Miserliness and stinginess means holding on to things, being attached, and giving away something is an antidote to that.
So you decorate offerings, and generally also saying the altars are, if possible, higher than you. For example, if you're sitting in your bed and doing practice, but altar is lower than your bed, if possible, if you have condition, make higher. And also, if possible, also when you do meditation, your altar and special statue, whatever you have, and your face-to-face will be very good, if there are options, yeah? And then ta chobadi shamsa venjela then chak lensum sa.
So having arranged the offerings, then you should do three prostrations.
Ta chakda phajin changmagi hakogi yore kogi da gongge jire.
So most of you know how to do prostrations, don't you?
Ta tanda ngazu de ngazu cha chayadi. So the
way we prostrate here in the temple is called the 5 limbs prostration.
That is all doggy da.
So that's the sutra way of doing prostrations. In the tantric way, we make different prostrations. We prostrate in a way that we are fully stretched out on the floor.
And the child is hard to Mibaya Hojina Chaksawa Zamjilla then on a Sempe, Shidul Yabuchari.
So if you know how to prostrate really well and then fold your hands in front of your heart, then this in itself will give you a really calm state of mind. Generally, prostrations becomes an antidote against pride.
Full meditation.
But in fact, if you are able to do prostrations really well, authentically, then they become much more than just an antidote against pride. They become real meditation.
So some are new, and the Rinpoche don't have time to talk these kind of things. So this way I'm just trying to talk any new. So and also teaching says, if possible, you have everything and conditions are good, then say do prostration from front of statue, not from the side. Yeah, like here when we are big gathering. Of course, everybody cannot do here. So people do prostration here, everywhere. But when you are alone in your home, then say, don't do like your statues here, but you don't do prostration here. If you are in a space, do front of the statue. 아니 차차베 갑라야 다 미과디 되니 남가라 산제다 chanju samba 탐제 다좀바죠 강 휴 삼바지체.
So when you then make prostrations, you imagine that in the sky before you, in the space before you, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are present.
로 안테다게 장ар 나랑기 장장 샘전 탐제자 루싱기 둘탕 마바 뚫네.
And you do together prostrations with all sentient beings, you guide them. And in addition to that, you emanate, and all sentient beings emanate countless bodies with which we then make prostrations. So we do the 5 limb prostration. So then we fold first of all our 2 hands in front of our heart center, and that symbolizes the unity of skillful method and wisdom. And then we leave an empty space. When we fold our hands, they are not flat pressed together, and this symbolizes a jewel.
아니 라와기 길디디 카체디 베마카비스다
And the middle fingers don't touch. They don't touch. That symbolizes that that the gesture you make is like a lotus flower that is about to blossom.
아니 데네 샘디 템바 미바세지도 제다 코나바야 유 삼바세 아니 나랑게 빼샤나 탐모디야 따와시도 디루제베 갑라 단 나랑게 새로 토마 매번 류지곤 소제바 마진발라 소바도는 류지곤 사베디리냐면서 타보 주르지 삼매바체 들라된다 타송 삼바지체.
So then we touch with our folded hands the crown of our head, as was illustrated just now by Lamala, and then you think that so this way gesture, may all the negative deeds that I have committed with my body, all the negative deeds of killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, may all of it become purified.
아니, 되니 dimbarla tama dimbar 자베갈라 사르 토마 메반에 타달라 투바 나기고는 준다 tama 스승나 잘라 소반도나 나기고는 사빈 야바탐제 말레바 장지 타와 줄지 삼바체 델라된 탁숨 삼바지세.
Next, you fold your hands in front of your throat center and you make the firm aspiration. May through this way gesture all the negative deeds that I have committed with my speech, such as idle gossip, harsh words, undivisive talk, and lying, may all of that become purified. And then, thinking like that, you also feel that now they have become purified.
아니 탐무 닝가르 자베갈라다 새로 토마 매번 다달투부 셈맘 이지고는 다 납sen 느슨 로달라 소도나 가서 이기고는 사비 딕지 탐제 말레 다 장시 타와 유지 sia 소와다 텔라데는 타숨 삼바지체.
And then you fold your hands in front of your heart center, making the firm aspiration that through this way gesture, may all the negative deeds that I have committed with my mind of covetousness, ill will, and wrong view, may all of it become purified. And then again, you, with a firm sense of conviction, you think now it all has become purified.
된 디젤라 다 열랑아스간디 다 조 비무니당 라관니당 달바디 다 살라마 자르기요레.
Then, having completed that, we then bow down and touch with our 5 limbs the ground. And our 5 limbs are the the two knees, our two hands, and the forehead.
디 값수인다 뇽몬바 되자 셰단 띠무 나자 차도 라서바 탐제 장송 매바 차송 삼바체.
When this happens, when we touch with our five limbs the ground, we then make the firm aspiration. May all the five negative emotions be realized as the five wisdoms. May I actualize and realize the five wisdoms. And then we think, I have realized them, I have actualized the five wisdoms. And this you then repeat 3 times. And then when we rise the 3rd time and we have completed the 3 times, 3 prostrations, then we conclude the prostrations by touching on top of the crown of our head, throat center and heart center, and then we think at that time that now my body has transformed into the enlightened body, and my speech has transformed into the enlightened speech, and my mind has transformed into the enlightened mind. So if we're able to really do that genuinely, just as it was explained right now, then and then your mind will become so calm from that gesture. It will become also so soft and gentle. So from this, receiving those explanations, we can understand that prostration is not merely a tradition that we have to follow, but in fact it is a practice that is really beneficial for ourselves. If we don't make prostrations with these pure recollections in mind, then it is a tradition. No? It's merely we follow a tradition if we just do it mindlessly, or we think it's our duty. We have to do it as good Buddhists. But when we do so, when we just do prostrations without really thinking much, then what happens in this very moment is that we and the Dharma become separate entities, and this is a very precarious situation. Because what happens if we and the Dharma become separate, we can never change. The Dharma cannot change us. And if the Dharma has no effect on us, that is to say, if it cannot change us, sooner or later will give rise to wrong beliefs and mistaken beliefs. And that's really easy to understand, no? For instance, if you do prostrations without actually thinking much, just doing it because you think it's perhaps your duty, then you will never experience the benefits that result from doing genuine prostrations, and not experiencing the benefits that come from doing genuine prostrations. You will think after some time, well, it doesn't work. Prostrations don't work, and they don't do anything good to me. It must be all a lie, what they say, what they teach. It's not true.
So think prostration is not for me.
All the 84,000 sections of the Buddha's teachings are all taught for for us, for all the different individuals that abound in this world, that exist in this world.
근데 내단 하보거나 땡아도 정말 select I like bodhicitta, but I don't like refuge, so I take out refuge somewhere. I like mental offering, but I don't like confessions, so I take out. Dinde chana, and dinde do chagre. 다 슝네 시험하는 생각은 라렌 따로선 참만 나라는 거기도. 데 나라는 패나 데 나라는 치도 하고.
So there's all the different teachings that are given and all the practices in order for us to change our mind, that our mind becomes transformed. And if we do them, if we follow through, that is to say, if we really do them as they are taught, as they are explained, we'll experience the benefits.
라서 다데도 차숨 야후지 뭐네 닝구 리비드네 차왈데네 나랑기 딕디디야 장 아니 학바도 군조숨 일라 템베고네 차사나 디기 다 튕기 바르제디야 싸 칠랍디 톱이인데 되는 나랑기 유디야 나르다 만다오진데 튕디야 야고지 차기.
So if we do prostrations, as it was explained right now, in this genuine way, then first of all what will happen is that the obstacles for our session will be all dispelled. The obstacles, and also our mind will become very soft and gentle and will receive the blessings. So our mind has then transformed, it already has changed from doing prostrations, and then we become really open and ready for the session.
요 샘디 뿌라코라 나와 줄데르다 타만기 낭신지어라 비뿌라 트랜스폼 차대요.
And we also, I forgot to say, purify our obscurations by doing prostrations. And by doing so, our experience changes, our experience has become transformed. And that is already meditation, that's practice.
나도 단득 지징라 침뱉 선배 사천부지고 침뱉 선배 사천부지고.
In the tantric sadhanas or practices, there's a practice which is called the downpour of blessings, which is really precious and important. And in the Drupchans, in the great practices, we always, in each session, we receive that, or we practice that downpour of blessings. So what does this downpour of blessing really do? What good is it for? Well, what happens is that everything through that very process becomes pure.
And
if everything becomes pure, then what happens, what arises or manifests through this very process is that the good fortune or the luck for receiving the siddhis occurs. If you, for instance, do a retreat, and then we, in a retreat hut, we think, oh, I'm in a retreat hut. This is just an ordinary place. This is just everything, we regard everything as ordinary. Then through that ordinary perception, what happens is that we'll not receive the siddhis, will not receive accomplishment. All the kind of luck of the siddhis will degenerate through such a perception.
So similarly, 당가도 차대 사용도 당가랑게 고승기 딕지 탐체 탁송 말라 구승 투지 왕한테실 모두 말로 톱송 사람들 다 탐하게 낭신데 요말 다 내인데 데지간에 지금 살 내라 데도야데 샘대야 지금 만다지 거라.
So if we
comfortable from that.
if we do the prostrations as was explained before, what happens is that our body, speech and mind becomes completely transformed, not ordinary anymore. Everything becomes pure. Our mind, our body and speech become the enlightened body, speech and mind. And then with that purity in mind, we then sit down and begin our practice session, and then everything can really go well from there.
Even just start to sit down your meditation cushion, you feel so comfortable. You feel so kind, relaxed. Otherwise, just sitting, our worry is how will go my meditation sessions. Same the narrow uptight on the Sunday or and the anti the Reshachara.
Usually our mind is so narrow and confined, no? We always have all kinds of worries. How will my meditation session go? Will it go well or not well? But if we do the prostrations in that way, as explained before, everything will go well because you have already purified everything. You just sit down without any worries or concerns.
나랑이 셈 당와 매바 세지베 나랑 류양 참 매바준 나랑 잠마지 셈제 탐제 냠도데 차서다 장주sem을 지었으며 어디인데 내 팬이 전부요 될라더니 실랍주고 늦으장거 어딘데 인디 되는 뭐네 차지 차와 잠게 뭐는 나랑 튕 뭐시 튕디 야구 차야라 뱀메스라
As was mentioned before, that if we merely think of the Buddha a single moment and feel faith and devotion toward the Buddha, then this in itself purifies our obscurations in an inconceivable way. Just that very process, that very short action. Now think about doing prostrations. Doing prostrations really in that genuine way, as was explained before, recollecting all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in front of you, and with faith and devotion, you then bow down, purifying your body, speech, and mind. So this, and not only that, at the same time, what you keep in mind is that you're doing prostrations together with all sentient beings. You're transforming your body into countless bodies, and with these multiplied bodies, you then make prostrations to the Buddha. So at that very moment also you possess bodhicitta because you are doing it together with all sentient beings. So this kind of, this is a extremely profound and vast practice, and this really purifies our obscurations in a very vast way. There's some people in Tibet who, all their life, all what they did was just prostrations.
아니 잡지 딩구치들은 뭐지 구속 첨부 된다 업계 첨부되나 콩 니마다와 차 맙주음자 마셔봤어.
And the late Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, he was really, really tall, and it was very difficult for him to move. But he did every day at least 50 or 100 prostrations.
주시는 뭐신다. 그런 구속들이 다 슉슉라마도 니마다와 차 니제니 살라고.
Or take into account the example of Toshik Rinpoche, who even when he was really, really old, he did every day 200 prostrations.
다 슉슉라든 구속들이 다 공마족 좀 발라든 차등용 당마도 신 딱와든 사요.
Only at the very end of his life did he reduce the amount of prostrations. Then he did the fewer, but otherwise he always did 200. I forgot to say before that if you then do the prostrations in that way, then really your practice will go extremely well. You don't need to have any worries. It will be extremely successful.
차 망보 마찬나 착숨디 야고 수수 나라 수수 라와 요래 나도 그룹 가수 라와 시다 요 말이야 수수 나라 아니 야고 치고 그래서
So please do the prostrations really well, especially when you're at home alone. You have at home when you're in your private sphere, you can really take care and do them well. Now, when we're all together, it's difficult to just have so much time to do them. But at home, please do them like that.
차디라 페인다 그거 좀제 처음에나 라마 권는 봐 똑바 남가다 냠게도 저기 제주 초라단 말을 참고 잘 제주 초라단 그 말을
So if prostrations were not that very important, then all the masters in the past who had such high realization like the vast sky, why would they do so many prostrations? They wouldn't waste their time like that, no?
네, 아니 나도 차숨디 다 so we do 3 prostration with burden on our heart. It's not just because you're Buddhist, you have to do, not like that. Or this is like tradition, not like that. We need to do burden on our heart 3 times, nicely, according to your own traditions. Yeah, and all the Buddhists, they do prostration, but according to their own, they have traditions. But according to that, we do nicely and very, very good. So tomorrow I will talk a little bit about the luneti tordijishu.
So tomorrow I will give some brief explanations about the body posture, and then we'll go into the sadhana, into the Buddha Shakyamuni practice.
Chanju Zemjo Rinpoche Maje Bana Jeju Jeba Nyamba Meb Kone Gondo Be Varajo Gewa Deye Jebu Gun Sonam Yeje Zodone Sonam Yeje Lej Tamba Gonye Do Barajo Sonam Deye Tamje Zibanye Tamne Nyebe Danamba Jega Naje Balabruba Sibe Zole Do Wa Do Varishu